Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in. I'm working on an HDR, and I've gotten back into HDR. I went for a long time just using Luminar and not really doing much with Aurora. But lately I've done a couple of videos about Aurora, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I gotta be honest, there's so many filters in Luminar that sometimes I get distracted by that and forget how powerful Aurora is, and it's really powerful. And so I've been using it a lot lately, and I took some brackets last night, had a wonderful sunset, recorded a bunch of video and took a bunch of photos, so I'll do a vlog on that. But I wanted to share an editing of one of these photos. And anyway, so let me show you what's happening here. Here's the photo. Now that's obviously the final result. There's the before, which that would be the center exposure from the bracket set. And then here's a slider before and after. So let me reset these filters and then we'll dive into the editing. Okay, so here we are. I've got several layers here, so I'm going to run through these. On the base layer, I took a HDR basic panel, and what I did here, I say this all the time, went a little bit left in temperature, a little bit right on tint. It was basically right after sunset, so blue hour is kind of coming in, but you can see the sun is off to the right and out of frame. Well, the light from the sun actually had fallen behind those hills. I had a little bit of contrast, a little bit of HDR enhance, and then a bump in smart tone just to sort of even it out. One of the things I like about Aurora is that the base HDR looks really natural to me. So, you know, that's the middle exposure. The base HDR, I guess, technically was that. To me, that looks really natural without doing a lot of stuff to it. And so I brought it up a little bit with the HDR basic panel, and then I went into the color slider here, gave it a little vibrance and a little color contrast. And if you don't use color contrast, that's good stuff, my friends. Really good stuff. So I think it's a great thing to have. And then I just basically next slid the polarizing filter. And again, that was purely just for the sky. If you look at it before and then after, it just darkens those blues, makes them a little richer. And I love how the sunset here, part of the reason I framed it this way, well, let me back up. I kind of had to frame it this way to get the bridge in it. But the other thing that I liked about framing it this way is that you got the blue and the orange, and they're kind of meeting in the middle. There's almost like a line kind of like diagonally between the two. And I just think it looks cool. You have that color sort of pairing up. So I wanted to darken the blues because we're going to do some stuff to the oranges here in a minute. Next up was top and bottom tuning. And you can see the top, I warmed it up a little bit. And the bottom, I did a little bit of vibrance. I did a little bit of stuff too there. So, you know, I went from that to that using top and bottom tuning. I think top and bottom tuning is a great filter. Really powerful. It's wonderful that you can set the orientation, which I didn't really need to. That line is pretty much in the middle of the photo, which is the default orientation for that filter. But anyway, simple stuff, easy to do. But then I came to color toning, and this is also known as split toning, and you can see the impact it had on the photo. I basically just left the highlights in kind of the red zone and then just moved the saturation of those to the right. I didn't touch the shadows, and so let me show you the before. There it is without split toning, and after. Now, I say split toning, that's actually because that's what it's called. For some reason in Aurora it's called color toning, but in Luminar it's split toning, in Lightroom it's split toning. It's been split toning to me forever, so I'll use those terms interchangeably because it's the same thing, all right? So there I was, I'd done that, and I thought, golly, this is a great photo. I think I'm done. But I wasn't done, so I went and added another layer. And what I did on this layer is I basically just took the structure filter and I went negative. So I think of HDR structure as something you slide to the right to sort of jack up the details and get all, you know, crunchy. But you can go left and smooth it out. And then all I did is drop a gradient filter. And let me just show you the mask. I dropped a gradient filter, so it just fell straight out across the sky pretty much, covered all that. And then I came back with a brush and just brushed it into the water. Fairly quickly, you know, not the smoothest job, but gets the job done. All I really wanted to do is smooth out the sky and the water a little bit, and you can use denoise for that, and it works great, but you can also do that with HDR structure and just go negative and then paint it in where you want it. So that was it. It was quick and easy, and now I got the dreamy kind of buttery skies. You know, I was fortunate to get traffic going kind of both ways in my 3 exposures. By the way, this is a 3 exposure bracket, as you can see. I shot it at -5, -3, and -1. That's something I always do. I err to the left. I pretty much always shoot darker as opposed to brighter. And it is f/16 ISO 100 and 24 millimeters. So just in case you're curious. So now I got to that layer and I thought, all right, I think I'm done. But then I realized I wasn't done. So then I came and added another layer, and in this layer, I made a few minor changes. Let me turn those on. You can see I kind of punched things up a little bit. So I went into the color slider and I gave it a little bit of vibrance. Again, it was, I thought it looked nice before, but now it's really starting to kind of amp up a little bit. And then I went into the tone curve, and if you don't use the tone curve, I recommend getting comfortable with it. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 videos about the tone curve around Luminar, but it's the same thing. The tone curve is the tone curve, whether you're in Photoshop or Lightroom or Luminar. So I dropped a few points in here, just massaged things a little bit. Let me show you what that did. There's the before, it's kind of subtle, and there's the after. It's just a little bit more impact, and that's all I was going for. And then I dropped a vignette onto this guy, and nothing major, but here's the before and the after, right? A little bit of inner brightness, and I scooted this center over a little bit closer to the bridge, and a little vignette around the edges. Again, just creating a little bit of drama, a little bit of interest. And then I got to this point, and I said, hey, I'm done. I mean, it's just not going to get better than that. And then I saw something I didn't like, and that is this building right there, which is generally kind of gray, maybe kind of white, is very blue because of all the other color adjustments I did. So in Aurora, you just grab it in the layer. And so I did that. I went over here to color, and I just took the saturation down by 61, as you can see. And all I did is paint it in there in that building, and I think one other little spot. Yeah, I painted it onto that building and one little spot over here. All the red stuff here, those are not brush marks. Those are the light trails from the passing cars. But that was it. So quick and easy, but powerful. And that's the beauty of Aurora. I find myself, a lot of times I'll make my HDR in Aurora and then go over to Luminar. But you don't have to do that. I mean, Aurora is completely capable by itself, except, and the except is, there was another guy, 2 guys actually, hanging out over here, and you can see his tripod leg is sticking on that rock. I'll need to remove that. There's not an eraser tool in Aurora, so I'd have to remove that in Luminar or Lightroom or somewhere else. And I think I saw a couple of little dust spots on my lens up in the sky. I don't really see them now, and part of the reason I don't see them is because I smoothed out the sky so much. But I think they were there, so I need to go look for those. So you can't remove stuff like that. But outside of that, I mean, you can do all kinds of amazing color adjustments. And, oh, let me turn that layer on so you can see that the... hang on, come on, turn on. There we go. Took the saturation out of that building, so now it looks more like it's supposed to look. But you can do so many amazing things with your HDRs. I think the natural outcome is very natural. It looks realistic to me. That's what it looks like. So this is not a crunchy, over-the-top HDR. You can do that in Aurora if you'd like to. I just don't really want to. I rarely do that unless I'm shooting some kind of grungy scene. But something like this, I want it to look tranquil and beautiful. And you can get great color out of all these filters, and then like the negative structure to really smooth out the sky and add to the water and stuff like that really help. And that's a photo, my friend. So that was me last night, gunning brackets into the sunset and just kind of like high-fiving myself because I was so happy about the color and the light trails and the clouds. And so you'll see more about this soon when I get my vlog together for it. But I wanted to share the photo. So thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those things. And Aurora is still on special, by the way. I should have started at the beginning of the video, but it goes until July 4th. It's a great deal. It includes Trey's videos and all this stuff. So check those out if you haven't yet. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon, my friends. Take care and adios.